the Raptors should probably be the favorite.
Yeah.
They should be, maybe.
They were the number one seed this year, right?
This year, you know what I'm saying? So
fired their coach of the year.
Exactly. So it's just like, but now with him going, and I think Kawhi not fully buying into it, I think we're going to see the Celtics go represent the Eastern Conference.
The Kawhi thing still is unsettled, but I guess he's not Popovich's problem anymore, so he doesn't care. Yeah. But it all comes down from Lonzo Ball.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson, no doubt, says to him, you know what? You foiled us this time, but you're done here, pal, because we wanted to trade you and to Spurs and get Kawhi Leonard, and your people leaked your injury just so you can stay here because you're Mr. Los Angeles, you went to UCLA, all that kind of stuff. But as soon as we can trade you, pal, you're out of here.
What if he turns out having... Wait, my first question is, do you think he starts this year? Or
Lonzo Ball?
Or Rondo starts?
It's... Well,
because I couldn't tell Rondo that
the guy who's going to run the guy's going to run the team is going to be LeBron, right?
Yeah, LeBron is going to run the team.
LeBron is going to say, LeBron is essentially the point guard anyway.
But don't you think that there's a few point guards that LeBron will defer to, and one is CP3, and I think one might be Rondo.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
If Rondo has any gas in the tank, and
he had a great postseason,
and LeBron will see that in the preseason. He'll see if there's any. He's going to say, "Look, I want Rondo starting."
Yeah.
But if he sees that Rondo's got nothing left, I still think they're going to find someone else because I can't see LeBron James and Lonzo Ball getting along ever. It's just,
you don't think so? Okay.
I did and I didn't. I said Lonzo Ball passed the ball really well.
Does. But
there's drama. And
it's LA and it's everything. And
every night,
And this is what LeBron going to Philly, wherever LeBron, the teams he was talking about, he's going to slow down the young person's process, wherever he goes.
J.R. Smith made the most boneheaded play at the worst possible time and all that stuff. And LeBron only had to answer a few questions on it and just sort of smile and he's my teammate, blah, 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 blah. That's going to be every night magnified for a regular season game, 81 times a year, 82 times a year.
It's under a microscope. Every
with Lonzo Ball. Well, what about when Lonzo did this? What about Lonzo, as opposed, the J.R. Smith thing was huge. And it won't even matter because every night will be something about Lonzo Ball.
And the backup point guard, well, I don't know if he's a backup point guard now, but Josh Hart from Villanova got Summer League MVP.
Yeah.
He had a bad game the last game. He got tossed out.
And LeBron went to those games.
He went to those games. Yeah. But he was a Summer League MVP. I think the semifinals game, he dropped about 39 points. And
here's the thing, because every reporter is going to go to the father now, because what was the father? The father said he could beat Michael Jordan, right? Yeah. They're going to say, hey, LeVar,
this is the big
people
question.
think that LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan, and you can beat Michael Jordan. Could you beat LeBron? And that's going to be, LeBron, you can go play him on the court, blah, 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 blah.
And they already said that, but it's crazy. He did call that LeBron was going to come to LA. LeVar. Look, it's funny because he says a lot of crazy stuff, but the big things, he's been right about a lot.
Well, I think everyone knew LeBron's son was going to go to that school. That's what it was. That's what it was.
And he was just like, how do you feel about LeBron coming to LA? And he was just like, well, I already knew he was going to come to LA. And how do you think LeBron is going to make Lonzo better? And then he said, well, I know my son is going to make LeBron better because my son makes everybody better. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, your son is going to make LeBron better. I understand.
You'll have LeBron James with Luke Walton. So,
but I think that's a great system. I'm going to tell you why, because the system the Lakers run is the same system the Warriors run. It's just that the talent is not the same. Correct. So it doesn't look as effective. So,
and I think it'll be the first time LeBron has had a real coach. That he could respect. He had some real coaches, but there weren't guys he could respect. Caller, you were on Sports Talk.
Richie from Charlotte.
Hey, Richie, how you doing?
What's up? Listen, you want to hear how crooked Nassau County is? I'll tell you how crooked they are.
You're on a leash here.
Okay, now, my son took the Nassau County police test in December at Nassau Coliseum, okay? He had to pay $100 fee for the test. All of a sudden, I found out they threw the test out because there was a glitch in the computer. So the test is voided out. And nobody's not getting their $100 back. How do you like that?
I know nothing about it, so I can neither confirm nor deny. Yeah. But they are supposed to do some kind of credit. No, I mean, in terms of, I don't know when they do the next test. Usually, when that's happened, you're grandfathered in. Yeah. So he should hopefully have that. My thought is they don't want to announce when the next test is because that's fraught with all kinds of peril when you announce kind of when the next test is because you don't know when the next test is in.
Yeah.
So he should be fine. Yeah. If he's not, it's only going to take one person to file a class action suit, which they will. Someone will.
You want to take the case? No. Do you want to take the case?
No, no. I'm telling you, it'll only take one person, because a lot of guys who are people who took the test. You have a bunch of guys who were NYPD, who went to night school, law school, became lawyers, and now want to switch to Nassau County. Right. So you have some lawyers who took that test. Yeah. So you're going to see someone file a class action.
Easy, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I would think would happen, because they can't mess. And also, they don't need to have. I mean, no one gets papers anymore. But they don't need front page Newsday, basically, because that's what
the thing too is they don't even tell you how many people took the test. It's like so quiet.
Do they give any kind of, like the NYPD test? They give the and they've already taken 3 classes from this last test. Do they give any kind of residence points or anything for Nassau County versus Suffolk County, or it doesn't really matter?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. They might do that.
Because I know I was actually in the Runner's Edge store, whatever the running store is in Huntington 2 weeks ago, and there was a young lady who's in the academy right now, and she was talking about the grade she got was pretty high, but she didn't have she just moved to Queens, but didn't count yet, so she didn't have the residential 5 points or whatever they give you on your test, so she didn't have that yet, so otherwise she would have been the first class.
That's for NYPD?
Yeah, she would have been the first class otherwise, she said.
Oh, that's good, but the nerve of these people, man, unbelievable. I guess they need to make a quick $200,000, right?
Well, the more problematic thing is, if this happened, what happened with the test? I mean, that's kind of a big thing, in terms of, you're talking about the test is how you get your next
class.
Yeah, exactly. So that's big. That's a really, really big thing. Yeah. So that's and there's new leadership. There's a new commissioner. There's new county executive. So a lot of
council. So you know what? Hopefully, like you said, somebody does will fire.
Yeah, absolutely. They know better. Also, if you follow the progression of the current, and she's new, county executive, she's been trying to do everything right so far. Right. So it would certainly be in line to keep on doing everything right so far. Yeah. So.
Well, hopefully she'll do a good job.
Right. Oh, yeah. But I mean, I think Peter King's daughter is also trying to be on the Republican side as well, so you'll keep an eye on her as well.
What does she do?
She's a town of Hempstead council person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so she's also a maritime lawyer, which is where the money is.
Oh, really?
Not quite patent law, but it's pretty good, maritime law.
Anyway, we'll talk about the Yankees.
Sure.
Did you think, at the beginning of the season, did you think they were going to be this good?
I don't know. We're looking at Cameron here. Did you think the Yankees would be this good at the beginning of the season? Well, they were so good last year.
Yeah,
right?
I was expecting them to be this good.
Yeah, I mean,
I was too.
I
just knew it was.
They didn't need Stanton. That's the funny thing.
Yeah, they didn't need him.
What they're doing now, they would have done anyway. They would have done. I don't.
Some way, somehow. Somebody else would have stepped up.
There were some problems I found, like Sanchez is hurt, right? So
he's back, by the way.
Okay, so that's good. Didi stopped hitting after April, right?
Yeah.
He went through that rough May.
That's a problem. But they don't need when it comes to pitching, we don't know. We don't know until
when they went to the season. How did they think they were going to go with these pitchers last the whole season? How would you realize CeCe has a bad knee? Well, everyone you can count him to go the whole season.
I just think it's going to catch up to the Yankees, honestly, in the playoffs and the postseason. That's what I think.
Matters. Yeah. You need to have. I always call it the punch in the mouth. The Kentucky, this past weekend, we were undefeated in softball, and our arch rival team swept us in both games. Or 2 weeks ago, when it didn't rain, and I'm like, that's what you need. It's what always happens to the University of Kentucky. They'll go to the season undefeated, and they'll lose in the big dance, and then you're done. You need to get your one loss in the regular season so it doesn't ruin you.
But Alabama always has that one
all of a sudden
loss.
You realize, we're human, and that's the punch in the mouth you need, kind of thing.
Patriots always has that one
that's
loss.
That's exactly right.
Season,
you don't want it to be the last game. You don't want it to be the big
Super
dance,
Bowl,
the March Madness. Right.
If they go to a one-game playoff and they lose, oh my God.
Who?
The Yankees.
Well, I think that's what might happen.
Let's remember this: the Red Sox, as excellent as, and I'll use the word excellent, as the Yankees are, the Red Sox are on this magical, historical season, which is bizarre. We don't see it because we've got the Yankees here, but it is a magical, historical, incredible season that the Red Sox are having right now.
Did they ever want to lose? My God.
Right.
My God.
So you're looking at this one-game series, which is bad for two reasons for the Yankees. Number one, if they lose, they're one and done, and they will have only played one more game than the Mets. I mean, just think about that. Yeah. The Yankees could have this fantastic season and play one game, or the Red Sox either, depending on who wins that, or who gets the wild card and loses it. Yeah. and play only one game more than the Mets. That's number one. Number two, even if and when, it's a good problem to have, but when the Yankees win, should they win that wild card game, they will then be out of turn with their rotation, right? It'll be their pitchers. They won't, because they'll be using Severino in the
Tanaka.
So it'll be and then because is it probably a day off in between the wild card game and the first game of the playoffs, right? So I could see that happening. Then he won't get to pitch until that third go round, right? He'll be like the third starter, right? He won't be the second starter, I don't think. I'm not sure. Either way, if they can't set it up that he'll get to go as many games as possible, and that stinks. Because Severino is filthy. His stuff is filthy. It's so good.
Right?
Yeah, it's so good. So.
And did you see? I'm glad the Yankees didn't get Machado. You know what I'm saying? Why throw away prospects for him? You know he's going to leave. He's going to leave at the end of the season with the Dodgers. He's not going to stay there.
Yeah. Well, throwing the prospects around, I'm just thinking about Jacob deGrom, because people are saying, number one, the Mets aren't going to trade deGrom. But the fact is, everyone's like saying, if you're deGrom, you want to lock in money as much as possible because you could get hurt. deGrom is 30. He doesn't have that many innings in him. And when you're a superstar pitcher, you have to say to yourself, I'm not thinking about injury. I'm great. Look at CC Sabathia. He's fat and he's old, and he's still pitching at 38 really well. Yeah. So, I don't see any reason deGrom would say, you know what? When you sign a big contract, you got to say, look, I deserve it, and I'm owing, and I'm going to live up to it. And that's what deGrom has to say, because people are like, what if you buy out his arbitration years now? It's like, no, he's going to want $30 million a year for all those 4 years. He doesn't want to have 20 now and 20. Exactly. He'll get an arbitration anyway.
No, but you know what? That's a 4-year contract, no more. That's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, the luxury tax is $197 million. And you said 2 weeks ago, if they go over that luxury tax, it's a fine, $75 million? Who can afford that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
$75 million. Are you kidding me? No wonder why Cashman is watching everything now.
Yeah. Well, who was the team? Some team just decided to say, screw it, we're going over, we don't care. I just read the article yesterday, and it's some GM of one of the teams just said, I don't care, we pay it every year, we'll do it again. Was it the Giants? It was some team who just said, yeah, well, that's fine, it's fine, we can live with that, it's not a problem.
Now, if you go on, I don't know, do you read the Daily News during the day or no?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Well, if you go online now for the Daily News, you gotta subscribe to them to read all the articles now.
Yeah, well, you get 5 free every 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, the number one article you want to read on the Daily News, actually, is the post you want to read it on, bro, is Joe Beningo.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go with that.
What happened with Beningo?
That's you want to be his +2, right? I mean, geez Louise. That's luckily he's on vacation this week because he's going to be on an extended vacation, and by that I mean you will never see Joe Benigno again or hear him on the Fan.
What happened?
Oh, you don't know?
No. Serious.
Let me tread lightly here.
Yeah.
A woman named Lauren Lockwood, age 40, who was a sales executive for the Fan, filed a lawsuit.
Yeah.
And she alleges that it's run like a frat party over there, which all the guy, even Sid and the other guy today, said that's not true. That people were drinking there by 10 a.m. and they're known for their pickle shots and all this crazy stuff.
Right.
And someone in her sales department had a strip club expense signed off on because they're told to take all their clients out there.
Yeah.
And there was some fight that happened in a luxury box at a game, and only involving the sales executives, and only she got fired for it. I'm leading up to a really big thing. Yeah. So but that's the stuff that is the stuff that's what they're going for. But that's not what that's what the Fan and Entercom could easily. They're gonna fight those charges because that's that. It's this Joe Benigno stuff, who apparently showed a picture allegedly. I got to make sure I qualify my words here. This woman, Ms. Lockwood, is alleging that while in the employ of WFAN, Joe Benigno showed on his phone naked pictures of Joe's wife, and a prostitute.
All together in one time?
You betcha. And that's the allegation.
Oh, my
God. Furthermore, Ms. Lockwood alleges that Mr. Benigno said, in showing this picture, propositioned her several times to have her join this said group of individuals in the future, in a very near future situation.
Well, this is the first time we're hearing about it.